In this video, I want to talk about how you can deal as a business owner with anxiety, depression, with panic attacks, but also mood changes and just overall not feeling too well. Just in general psychological things that could hinder you of working efficiently. The first thing that you want to understand is that every business owner is experiencing them. Some more, some less, but if I would give an estimate, and again, you can look up numbers online and each report will tell you something else, depending what kind of pharmacy company it is, right? I would estimate that at least 80% of all business owners experiencing that at least once per month. Because it's normal, it fits to our thinking. Like in business, nothing is stable. Everything is changing quickly. You gotta adapt to it. Something new is popping up. You're always working. You're always under the stress, especially when you grow your business at the stage. So that you're experiencing them is very normal, and you have to understand it. If you want to get more kind of reports, because that's actually the first step to kind of feel more relief from that, you want to look up how others are experiencing that. Look up on YouTube how it happened to others that they had that and how they cope with that. Look up some online statistics on what people are experiencing that, how they deal with that, etc. First, you want to have like an understanding. You want to feel understood, because sometimes people are not speaking up about it, and then you feel like you cannot talk with anybody about that because you're so ashamed of that. You feel like maybe it's not complete depression, but you feel kind of depressed and you don't know with whom to speak about. And in this kind of instance, it's kind of hard to like open mouth about that. The second point that you want to do before you jump into any extremes, you want to keep thinking very strategic about it and understand what the most fundamental things are to get them in right order. What do you don't get as a business owner that some other employee is getting? It's about stability, some routine, and about just regular stuff. You gotta fix your sleep schedule, you want to fix your food, you want to fix all of those basic needs that you really need. You want to become mindful, do meditation, and you want to start with them as soon as possible. After watching these videos, I tell you for real, even though you don't know how to meditate, just sit down and just try it for 5 minutes. Maybe you'll experience something or not, it doesn't really matter. Count how many times you get further. If you only do 1% improvement each day, that's already a step forward, and you should be proud of that. Even if that's not the solution for you yet, and it kind of doesn't resolve the feeling for you, it's still a step forward that you have to reward yourself. Because if you just reward yourself for doing that, for trying it, you will get a dopamine release, and therefore you'll feel good. But you have to be actually proud of you. Only then you will get the dopamine release. Be proud of the act that you did there. There's a bunch of advice out there what you should do else, and I'm gonna speak about the medicine doctors afterwards. Some high profile people kind of see those kind of stages as something that is securing, is kind of normal, but you should just keep going. And I partially agree with that. Most of the things that you're experiencing, the best thing that you can do in those situations is not to listen to them too much, but just keep going. Maybe take a painkiller. Don't get used to them, but from time to time to take a painkiller, especially something that is not hard on the stomach, like paracetamol. You can take it so you don't feel at least like any body sensation, and then you just keep going, and then after you get some things done, you will feel better. If this feeling persists for longer, then you gotta do something different. First, you want to think about what actually it is that is bothering you the most. Sometimes you don't realize what is causing you stress. Like, stress is such a thing. Like, some people, if you have ever experienced like really big amount of stress, like you feel like your body is shaking, maybe you get gray hair, maybe your skin starts to get red, maybe from those instances you see that you have a bunch of stress. Your body tells you that also from the food consumption. If your food consumption is bad, and then you start to get any signs, any different things on your body, different sensation, that's basically stress reform. So you want to identify them, and also maybe speak with friends, with mentors, with doctors, what those things could mean, and then you want to remove the trigger. That's the easiest thing that you can do. For example, with the phone consumption, like you would probably not realize that it's stressing you, but it is actually stressing you. All those notifications that are popping up, maybe it's easy for you to stare at the phone for 10 hours a day, but it's like slowly killing you. And in this kind of sense, it's the best thing that you can do is just to follow the most simple advice that is out there, and just eat as clean as possible. Look up some of my videos, I've talked about it. Do at least three times a week sport. Avoid mostly your phone. Try to read more. Go into nature. Be more mindful. Speak with beloved ones. If you follow those things, most of the time those things resolve. Sometimes those things are not resolving, and like the prescription for antidepressants is super high, especially nowadays in the 21st century. Many people get prescribed those meds and they kind of work, and that's kind of the funny thing. Even though you get used to them, so the effect kind of goes down, and also they have always side effects on top of them. Usually, like, medicines always made that they will resolve one problem, but at the same time they will cause other things. Only natural medicine is kind of a good all-rounder and will most likely not cause you any side things. So if you want to take medicine, start with the natural one. See if that helps you. If you, for example, have problems with low energy, you want to take vitamin B, vitamin D. Do a regular blood test, see if you're lacking in any vitamins, etc. And then you should supplement them to feel at least like on the base level. Also, if you're experiencing those things, the things that you want to do is kind of also isolate you from too much pressure from outside. You want to isolate you from too much light. In this case, you want to wear sunglasses or blue light blocking glasses. You want to maybe wear a hoodie so you can just keep focusing on your things and it will be not too overwhelming. You can wear headphones. One funny thing is if you don't have anybody to speak to, or you feel ashamed to speak up with anybody because you feel like every time you call them, you just want to use them to talk about your own things, try to get a therapoid online. They're very cheap nowadays, and there are some that are available 24/7. So every time you have like a panic attack or you get into a depressive state, you can text them on WhatsApp and then you will receive a message back. Those doctors, they don't work with clients on a one-to-one basis, but they are always available on a hotline. And yes, you can also book like a one-on-one session with them, but mostly they are always available on a one-on-one session. Just Google it, there's a bunch of services out there. Just choose the best one for you. It's much cheaper than you thought. Most of the time your insurance will pay for that. So I believe that's a good solution. Instead of thinking, oh, I have the appointment just in 2 days, but now I feel shitty. I believe that if you have something, you gotta fix it right now, so you waste less time and you can keep working in a business, because in the end, like, the more productive things that you can done, the better it is in the end. Further information to the previous thing that I just said is like, yes, productive things are good, because in this channel we focus on growing the business, etc. And those feelings, they are mostly not permanent, so you want to overcome them as fast as possible so you can come back to the business side and grow your business. But sometimes they are not so easy to overcome. In this case, it's better to rest and keep thinking and just relax for a certain amount of time until you feel better. If you really want to try it out, then go to a doctor, prescribe yourself some medicine, some sleep pills, etc. See if they work for you. I wouldn't go too deep and be too much dependent on them, to be honest, since most of the time they get addictive, they have side effects, etc. But I know a bunch of professionals do them, they take them to get out of those stages, and that's what you can consider as well. There are also some alternative methods of overcoming those things, more like shamanic things, if you like those, LSD, weed, depending where you live, if it's legal, if you care about legal things, you can try out those. Though I would recommend you to do them under some supervision, otherwise you do like one small mistake and then your symptoms are getting even worse. In general, how else to deal with those things is you want to have some tasks that are super relevant. Those are deep focus tasks, and you have some light tasks. and you have two separate lists. So every time you feel not so well, but you still have some energy left to do something, and you don't want to just sit and don't do nothing, you want to maybe tackle the easy task and get them done. Some of them, they're so easy, you just have to click and then you get into a flow state, and then you might go out of the stage. If not, you will still get some useful things done. Also for the strategic thinking, like if you know that you're experiencing those things and it will take maybe a couple of days to recover from them or a couple of hours, but you need to get something done. Maybe in the beginning of the business journey, you want to make sure to hire like one person that can take off the most essential task in a day for the business. So whenever you can't work for some reason, you have at least one person who can work on them. So you will only work on like additional stuff that keeps growing your business. But the business is always working on the side, so at least this doesn't stress you. I believe this is like a useful strategy. I want to mention some other natural things that you should try out. I'm a big fan of Wim Hof breathing. If you do the Wim Hof breathing, you will basically overventilate. You get so much oxygen in your body that you get into an alert state that will kind of give you some energy. The same goes if you do like a cold shower or something. It will just give you energy, and in this instance you will just feel like doing something. So you kind of react to the situation. Just think about an example in your life when you felt shit, but like a friend came and he told you something, then you felt good. Or somebody told you, like, not like asked you if you want to do something, but actually just grabbed you and went with you like to somewhere, and you didn't feel like you had to do something, but because the person just dragged you there. But like over time, during the experience, you kind of understood, okay, maybe that's just me choosing to feel this way, and I should just choose differently. And then the mood started to change, because again, most of the time, like those symptoms, they are not permanent. They are not as serious as you might think. Everybody of us is experiencing them on some form of level. If again they are super serious and you can look them up online, then you obviously have to get a doctor to get supervision on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis. But we are speaking about the mild to a little bit medium stage symptoms. Alright, I hope you learned something from that. Let me know how you deal with those kind of things. I'm curious about that, because I'm seeing that those kind of topics are not really well discussed in the business world, and nobody can really share like their experiences with them. Share them in the comment section down below. And also, if you like those kind of contents, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button so the video gets more outreach, and hit the bell button so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Sometimes I post such videos where you can act directly, like for example having 10 winning products for the new month in dropshipping. So it's worth clicking on the bell button. And with that being said, I'm gonna see you on my next video. Cheers.